This is KTN Prime. Now, detectives from the DCI have arrested 8 suspects who allegedly swindled one of the largest telecommunications companies in Kenya of some 500 million shillings. DCI, through its Twitter account, says the arrests followed reports by Safaricom of an unusual spike in the number of Fuliza loans where subscribers have gone underground after defaulting on repayments. And as Grace Nganga reports, the said suspects are said to be living large by acquiring heavy machinery.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, has uncovered a high-level syndicate of suspected fraudsters believed to have obtained close to 500 million shillings through Safaricom-provided loan service, popularly known as Fuliza. The giant telco allegedly lost the money in a well-coordinated scheme by 8 suspects based in Nakuru and Trans Nzoia counties. 7 of the suspects, namely Isaac Kipkemoi, Gideon Rono, Maxwell Rebuthu, Gideon Kirui, Moses Rono, Collins Kipyegon and Edwin Cheruyot were arrested at an apartment in Kiamonyi, while the mastermind Peter Getahi was arrested in Kitale, Trans Nzoia County. Upon arrest, the suspects, aged between 24 and 30 years old, were found being in possession of thousands of Safaricom and Airtel SIM cards. Detectives said the suspects were using fraudulently generated identity card numbers to register the SIM cards before proceeding to borrow money through the application. Investigations were launched after a report was filed to the Banking Fraud Investigative Unit in August of 2022, after Fuliza managers detected an unusual spike in Fuliza loan uptakes. In a well-orchestrated plan, the group will initially borrow money and repay, thereby improving their credit scores until the SIM cards achieved their limits, when they will borrow for the last time before disposing the SIM cards, making it hard for the telecommunication services to get hold of them. Detectives believe Getahi had access to the National Registration Bureau database, which he used to develop falsified IDs used in the fraud. After developing the numbers and registering the lines, he will sell them to his accomplices based in Nakuru, who will then use the SIM cards to borrow before disposing them. The suspects in Kiamonyi had, through the alleged fraud, bought 2 brand new Subarus, a Toyota Mark X, a Toyota Probox, and 2 motorbikes. Detectives discovered 14 Mobicom phones used in registering M-Pesa user SIM cards, 6 laptops, over 40 mobile phones, 7 routers, and assorted Safaricom lines. Also in their possession was over 1,000 Safaricom subscribers' registration forms, over 200 ATM cards from all major banks, and car agreements, among other exhibits. Detectives are currently interrogating the suspects for more insights into the fraud before arraigning them. Grace Nganga, KTN News.
The High Court in Eldoret has granted Ibrahim Rotich, the key suspect in the murder of athlete Agnes Tirop, a final chance to pursue a plea bargain after previous attempts to do so failed. Justice Ruben Nyakundi noted that the defense team, as well as the prosecution and the family's advocates, had not agreed on the plea bargain request made by Rotich's lawyers in June last year. Nyakundi told Rotich's advocate to explore the plea bargain route one last time before the court could direct whether to grant its request or proceed with the hearing of the case. Richard Warigi, the advocate representing Tirop's family, had also agreed with the prosecution, saying that the victim's family was opposed to the manslaughter charges sought by the accused.
Details and see whether you can be able to fast track this matter.
We are not aware about any plea bargain. Like we said the last time when we were here, we have not been served with any documents regarding any plea bargain. And as it was stated by my colleague, the prosecutor, Mr. Mugun, their proposal was to reduce the charges to manslaughter, of which I share the sentiments of Mr. Mugun. If there will be any plea bargain, we will maintain the charges of murder.
Tunawachia court uamuzi iamue na case inapake manslaughter. No, inapake murder case, sio manslaughter the way they want to be. The case is a murder case. Ni uwaji ambayo ilipangwa. Ndiposa kila mtu mwenye atatajwa kwa kuhusika naye ni lazima akuje kotini.
The National Steering Committee on Drought Response has so far raised 650 million shillings to mitigate against effects of biting drought. Now, at least 20 counties are still faced with drought following 2 failed rainy seasons. The committee chaired by Safaricom CEO Peter Ndegwa says the contributions will be used to buy food for the affected families besides drilling of boreholes.
All the forecasts say that the 4.3 million people who are suffering will increase closer to the 6 million. So the forecast for the next 12 months, we do not believe is going to have any major impact in terms of reducing the suffering. In terms of the livestock that has been lost, it is 2.5 million livestock that has been lost, which is estimated to be about $1 billion, which is more than 100 billion Kenya shillings. In terms of just livestock, remember that when one loses livestock, they also lose their livelihood. And as we've gone into January, we realized a lot of those communities are also not able to take their kids back to school. So the impact of the drought goes beyond just the food issue. Is any contribution you make, we'll make sure that it is used for the benefit of Kenyans. We are appealing for additional contributions. We are targeting $1 billion by the end of this month, and we'll set a new target after we hit that $1 billion. All that money will be going to food and also to support other initiatives like water and repair of boreholes. So I want to repeat the pay bill number again, 880990. And
Busia Governor Dr. Paul Otuoma can breathe a sigh of relief after the High Court dismissed an election petition filed by his competitor in the 2022 general election, Sakwa Bunyasi. Justice David Jenei, in his ruling, said the petitioner failed to prove allegations of malpractice in the election. Clement Masombo reports.
After spending months in and out of courts, it was a sigh of relief for Governor Paul Otuoma after a petition challenging his election in last year's elections was dismissed. The court dismissed Bunyasi's petition with costs. While delivering his ruling on Thursday, Judge David Kenei cited lack of sufficient evidence to prove election malpractices.
The result, therefore, the orders are as follows. A, the petition shall be dismissed with cause to respondents. B, the cause shall be as provided under paragraph 665.
Speaking after the ruling, Governor Otuoma said the ruling gives him the opportunity to serve the electorate in full capacity as the governor.
But all along, you know that we won elections, and not just winning, we won resoundingly. So we are very happy, and I just now want to appeal to the people of Busia that a lot of time has gone. We are almost half a year since we did elections. Today being 9th of January, you must remember that we did elections on 8th. So we must decide that it's about time now we really concentrated on service delivery to the people. It slows quite a bit of things because, you know, when you have got this thing hanging around you, sometimes even people you are dealing with, they are not sure what will happen.
Bunyasi, on the other hand, while not agreeing with the ruling, said he will respect the court's decision even as he continues to consult with his legal team on their next move.
I accept the result. I don't agree with it, but I accept the result. That's the purpose of a due process. And I need to consult with my lawyers and other advisors to see the next course of action, if any.
Clement Masombo, KTN News.
Leaders and residents of Ruaraka constituency in Nairobi now say there are more than 600 students who sat last year's KCSE exams but are now unable to join secondary schools due to lack of school fees. The residents are now fearing that if not checked, the students could be lured into crime and immorality. They now want the government to intervene and ensure all students transit to high school.
I think the principles to admit these schools, as the solutions are being sought, to admit the children. For those children who managed to go to school last year and they did their KCPE and got their results, they passed and they have been admitted to various schools nationally. Most of the children in Ruaraka have not reported to their schools. For now, we have a confirmed 620 children that you can see here that did not report to their schools when they were supposed to report on Monday.
Sani wenye wananiona hapa, mimi kama mama nilisikia kupeleka mtoto Monday tarehe 6 shule, watoto wawili. Mimi kama mama nimeshindwa. Nafulia ria nguo shilingi 100 ndio nirudi kwa nyumba watoto wangu wakule. Mimi kama single mother naomba usaidizi.
Nilisomea Missions of Hope Center Korogocho B na nikafanya KCPE nikapata 364. Nilifai kureport shule on Monday lakini singeweza kwa sababu wazazi wangu hawakuwa na school fees ya kunipeleka shule.
Ugenya legislator David Chang is asking residents of Western Kenya and especially those from Nyanza to desist from engaging in political demonstrations and instead support the government of the day to revive the economy. The MP, who was elected on an MDG party ticket, says time for politicking is gone and it's time for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges. He was speaking in Kisumu today.
I want to request our leaders that this is the time to support our country. Whether you like the president or not, whether you like the shape of his head, or teeth, or shoes, that's not the issue. I want all leaders in this country, let's summon the best of our instincts. Let's come together. Let's dialogue and get the best way out of the economic quagmire we are in today. We are asking the Minister for Education that the inconveniences coming because of CBC should be the convenience of the ministry, not of the parents, and not that of the students. And so when you open Parliament next week, we have agreed as Parliament we're going to take a very strong stand on JSS. It has to be run well. We cannot inconvenience parents. We cannot inconvenience our children.
Time now for another break. We will have business news after this.
Wazazi wangu ni special sababu wananipenda sana na mimi nawapenda pia. Kabla ya